Grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Julie's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Julie.
Hi, welcome back to Rosé All Day, Julie's a Mess. Guys, well, I was trying to figure out with my PR team earlier today. I think today's the 10th episode because we did an episode and we had to pull it because my guest was an asshole. But anyway, I think we are on my 10th. I don't know. Maybe it's my 10th. Maybe next year I'll have a celebratory woohoo too, even though it's technically my 11th. So guys, Rosé All Day. We have a new rosé every week that we try, and then we have a little fun, and we talk about current events, and I tell a story that I think people, well, it doesn't matter if they recognize it or not. It's a story that my guest gets to weigh in on how I reacted, and we just have a lot of fun, and I am glad that you're with us. I gained a grip ton of followers this weekend on TikTok. Some of them have joined and subscribed to this channel. So welcome to all of you that may be watching and being with us this evening. Also, let's go ahead and get into the show. Some of you may or may not remember Charlie. Charlie is one of my best friends. He has been here for a month, trying to help me do some things. And I don't think he anticipated saying the song, but we're going to unbox that and talk about that a little bit later too, because I think it's been the longest vacation in the history of his life. But let's get started with the rosé. This week, my rosé is by Sunseeker Wine. I'm trying not to get a glare. It is rosé wine by Sunseeker Wines. And let me tell you, it is nice and light and refreshing. It almost tastes just like grape water. Like if you're a light wine embodiment kind of girl or guy, it is just refreshing and just light on the palate. It almost is like a hint of grape or wine. I could definitely see myself getting drunk on it, and I probably will by the end of the night. Charlie, my good friend, and there's a funny story surrounding this, but what are you drinking tonight?
Well, tonight I chose a red wine because I like red wine and just the flavor because I'm bougie, so I needed to get one.
You're bougie? I thought I was bougie. Well,
when the cork comes out, you can actually smell the flavor, so I'm going to do it for everybody. Red wine.
So, Charlie, God love him. We could be in a bar that has the best. I mean, I'm not saying good beer or wine does not come in cans. That's not what I'm saying at all. Let's show them what it is. What kind is it? It is
toilet water.
Well, that's not good right before I talk about it. I can't read tonight. I was going to say it says Gratification Union, but that's not what it
Crafters
says.
Union, 2017.
Crafters Union. It's a great year in a can.
$3.
So, well, we don't know. I got it for free. But, but Charlie loves drinking out of cans. So the joke was I came out of the store with my new wine for tonight's episode. And Charlie goes, well, oh, what's this? Julie, can I drink this tomorrow night? And I was like, sure you can. It's in a can. I mean, we could be in a bar that has 150 beers on tap, and Charlie will be like, you got anything in a can? God love him. God love him. And look, nobody's commented yet. So we probably have done something wrong and nobody can hear us, or it's not airing on YouTube. You know how that works. So anyway, let's see. Let's talk about, I'm also eating while we're on, because I have not eaten all day today. And I got up into that interview this morning for #our stories on Snapchat, which I'm very excited about. And I have some other info to send them this week so they can put together that interview. I think it's really interesting talking about TikTok. They approached me and said, hey, we saw a TikTok video and it was brought to our attention on online bullying back in the fall. And then we started to watch her TikToks and we're like, holy shit, we need to have her on for other reasons. And I thought, hey, and I was so nervous this morning. I was like, what? I had to get up with a butt crack of dawn. So I haven't eaten all day. I was cramping. I changed my estrogen patch yesterday. Charlie was like, guard your loins, everybody. She's going to be bitchy for the next 6 days. Sad thing is even when I'm not on my patch, I'm bitchy for 6 days.
I suggested last night, change it tonight so you can get mad during the night and be happy in the morning.
It didn't work that way. I changed it last night and I was cramping and in the fetal position because that's what happens. People want to know. I put my patch on and I mean, it was bad enough last night that I made chicken and dumplings with white beans and I had gas. So like I was sitting trying to do TikTok live last night and it was like I had gas over here and it was beating the crap out of my half uterus and all my organs. And then I had my cramping and they were like literally cage fighting in my abdomen. And I'm like, I woke up this morning and Charlie goes, let's see how you get through this interview. You look like you're about to die. I was like, I'm dying in the corner.
She did very well, I have to say.
I did. I didn't fart once.
Anyway. Thank God.
Small miracles. So I want to do a shout out. I found out some interesting information this last week, which is I have some followers in Tampa, Florida that know my very successful and attractive, you thought I was going to say brother, sister-in-law. My brother's attractive and has good friends too. But I would like to call out my followers and new viewers to Rosé All Day, Marie and Pat. So I actually have met Marie. I don't remember meeting Pat. I probably met them both as Bradford and my 46-year-old stroke brain. Drink! I'm kidding. Flo, you better be drinking. Charlie almost choked. Also, if you're interested, I'm drinking my wine each week out of this awesome insulated, I was going to say white, but you can see it's white, insulated wine tumbler. It only comes in white. It has just Juleigh.com on the back. And on the front, it has XX wine and Rosé All Day. The tumbler is a little expensive and people have been giving me pushback, but $5 of each sale does go to better research of the XXY community here in America. So I would really appreciate if you could find it in your way in your bank account to treat me like a celebrity and buy my really expensive wine tumbler. And look, you can drink anything out of it. You can drink wine out of it. You can drink vodka out of it. I mean, you can act like it's your union gratification red $3 wine in a can.
You
if you want
to say you could drink wine out of it.
I did say you could. You jerk. I did say you could drink wine out of it. You can drink milk out of it.
Any potato product.
Vodka. Gin's really good in it. Oh, crap. It would help if you drank out of the right side.
Stroke brain.
Drink. So I'm going to have more of this wine. I may finish the bottle. It's super good. It's like Kool-Aid. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that wine commercial? Somebody walks out and they're like, when I want to drink wine, I pick the Kool-Aid of wine.
That's a Capri Sun.
Boone's Hill. No. Anyway, super excited. I have some friends sending in wine next week. And then it looks like I am starting to get some interest from wine companies. So that should be fun too. We are going to roll right into current events because we've got a lot to unpack and talk about. And let's get right into it. Charlie, big news came down today on George Floyd's murderer. Let's just say it. His murderer. let's unbox this a little bit. How do you feel about it? He was convicted on all 3 counts.
Yep.
And what are your thoughts as I eat peanut butter?
Well, I feel good about it, but it just waiting to see how many years he'll get, because they could give him 4 years, 8 years.
They said he may be up for like 75 years.
Good. I hope he gets all 75.
Because they were saying one of the counts comes with 40 years, another count comes with 35 years.
Oh, good. He deserves every bit of it. And
I was thinking, though, wherever they put him, it's going to have to be in like a single cell, because if they put him in max pop, he'll be dead within like a week.
And the police officers who stood around and did nothing deserves prison time also.
Yeah. Well,
just my opinion.
It's tough. Lots of big news, because also just read a story about Taryn Smith. I want to say Ohio. That may not be right. Oh, Iowa. She went missing on April 12th. She's an 8-year-old girl, and they found her in her grandmother's trunk. Yeah.
Alive.
No, not alive, Charlie. And they said that they're charging the grandmother with intent and trying to hide evidence. And the girl's been missing since the 12th, and she's been in the grandmother's trunk for like the last couple of today's the 20th. They found her yesterday. So how do you do that? How do you do that as a grandmother? Like, at first I thought maybe something happened and the girl died accidentally, and she was just so consumed that maybe she didn't know how to tell somebody or didn't know what to do. But I would think at some point you'd be like, ugh.
Well, that's when you take her from the courthouse to the electric chair and get it over with.
Oh, the grandmother.
Yep. Because I shouldn't have to, taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for feeding and clothing her for the next 10 years she's alive.
True.
Again, just my opinion.
Speaking of feeding and clothing, we had ducks. The last time Charlie was on, we introduced our ducks, Jen and Juice, to the world.
They grew,
and they've left the nest.
They're on a farm.
Yeah, we found them a great little farm. A young couple started a farm here in Nebraska, and they had 42 chickens, and they were looking for ducks, and they just got married. And I thought, they're going to a good home. But let's be honest, Jen's the female. We figured out they were male and female because you could just tell by size as they grew. And then you could tell that Juice was being very protective of Jen, which, irony of all ironies, if I was actual Jen and Orange Juice was being protective of me, I would totally get it.
Why are you calling my duck Orange Juice? It's just and Juice.
He was orange. He looked like Orange Juice.
But it's not Jen Orange Juice. It's Jen and Juice. Mine's and Juice.
I'm just saying the juice was protective of the alcohol. And in true form, the fun thing about it was we got them thinking like everybody else does that gets animals at Easter, that they would be cute and small forever. Kind of like when parents have kids. Oh my gosh, they're going to be cute and small. And then they grow and they smell and they cost you a lot of money. Can you tell that I'm not
drop off?
Can you tell that I'm not into having kids? People are like, do you want kids? And I went, I'm getting a breast job in June, and I don't want to be that mom. And somebody said, what mom? And I said, I don't want to be watching my kid graduating when I'm 60. Although I will be really hot, and people will be like, who is Stifler's mom in the front row?
She'll be on a walker with big old boobs.
Pulling me over. Shut up. I'm not going to be on a walker. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to crawl up that aisle like that seal in the lark.
Who's stripper mom?
She's not a stripper. That's just Julie. She doesn't know how to work a pole well.
I'm not touching that one.
So right before I came on today, I was like, oh my God, I don't have any lipstick. I said, I'm going to put some lipstick on. And I said, Charlie, you want some?
Yes. What color?
He said, what color? Like, I was like, what? Seriously? And then he put it on and tell everybody what you said.
I look good.
Not what you said. He said that his husband Jay says whenever he gets horny, his lips get
Turns red.
And so he goes, I just look like I'm horny.
And I am.
Well, you've been here a month. Who knew?
I love Nebraska.
He said he was getting so horny he wanted to go on a dating app, and he told his husband, he goes, but I'm afraid to go on. And his husband said, why? And he goes, because I feel like I'm gonna meet somebody and they're gonna be like, what's your address? And then they're gonna be like, oh, I've already been there.
I don't need to put it in my GPS. It's been there.
That's Juleigh's house. I was like, that is rude.
Damn.
That is rude. As I take my clothes off. It's hot in here. For those listening at home, I'm not getting totally naked. I'm just had to take my sweater off. So this wine is making me really hot. So what have been some of your favorite things about Nebraska?
Oh, so many not. Well, I've got to experience all 4 seasons in a week.
In a week, because Nebraska weather is bipolar.
Hot, cold, snow. And this was just yesterday.
The wind.
Yeah. Yep.
Charlie sent a video home to Jay, and he was like, Jay's like, what do you mean? What's the weather like? And Charlie's like, it's beautiful out, the sun's shining. And he's like, but look at this tree. And the tree was like blowing all over the street.
Yeah, broke the neighbor's mailbox. But the farm country is really pretty.
The farm country is really pretty. And too bad you won't get to see the corn this time as it starts to
take a picture and send it.
It looks like every other cornfield in America. Like if you've been to Epcot and gone on a ride that takes you over like the grand wheat countries of America and corn, you'd be like, oh, that's where Julie lives.
Yes, I get nervous. The children of the corn.
Jeepers creepers. Exciting news. So Charlie's like, what? What is exciting? So when Charlie came up here with me, it was because I needed to go get my new truck in Memphis, which was my cousin had gifted me. And Charlie rode back with me. And if you remember our last episode, we talked about getting pulled over and the really hottie cop. And God, he was hot. I still want to go out and try and find him and do like bad things so I can get pulled over by him. Like that's how hot he was. What was his name?
I don't know. I just remember his breath.
It was like
on my neck. License.
Ma'am, can I have your license? And Charlie almost shit a brick when he was like, ma'am, I need you to get out of the truck. And I was like,
I turned and I said, what did you do?
And I said, what am I going to do to get out of this situation?
I said, you better hurry because I'm cold.
Everything. But I have to tell you, when that cop put me in his car, I thought he was like, and do you have anything that'll poke me or stick me? And I was like, are you asking because you want to get poked and prodded by Julie? Or
Charlie does.
I was like, we all got things that'll poke you, officer. So, but I was like, he then goes, okay, I need you to get in the car. And I was like, oh my God, on cops, this is when they arrest you and speed away. I was like, I can't. But I got in the car, and let me tell you, because of all of the instruments and everything that cops have in the front dashboard, it was quite cozy. And I couldn't keep my eyes off his rippling muscles. And he was like asking me questions. And I was like, is this the part of the scene where I have to get in the back car and get out of the ticket?
Where's my pearls?
Because I'll do it. I actually think I asked him if he had asked me to get in the car so he could ask me out on a date. And he was like, ma'am, I am working and I cannot do that. And I was like, well, when you're not working, can you call me?
He should have said, I'm working too. It's $20.
$20. It's $20, officer. Damn it. And I needed help paying my phone bill this month. I could have done that about 10 times and been okay.
I take PayPal.
Mm-hmm. Do you want my Venmo, officer? I think what I want to say his last name too was like something Bumhauser or
Bumgardner, Bottomhauser. Quit giving up your nickname.
He was walking on his toes. You know what all my gay friends at home in Orlando say? You can tell a man's a bottom if he walks on his toes. Like if he walks on his ball to feet. Not balls. That's not.
What's on your mind?
The cop.
Balls.
Clearly, they say if you walk heel to toe, but they were like, if the guy walks out on his toes, that's a good sign he's a bottom. Once I heard that,
now I want to walk. I'm like, how do I do that?
We'd go to Disney and walk around and they'd be like, bottom, 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 bottom. And they weren't talking about the wives.
I would have been.
No, you would not have been.
I know. I got really mad. I know.
When I go to Disneyland in California, I think that the dads, because you have all the entertainment industry out there, I think the dads that go to that park are absolutely 100% hotter than some of the dad bods and older, balding men that go to Florida with their family. So the dads in California at Disneyland by a whole are just vivid video, hot, sexy dads. And I now call it Daddy Land. So I can go to Disney World in Florida or I can go to Daddy Land in Anaheim. But I was talking about it one day and a friend of mine was like, well, they have a DILF of Daddy Land site on Tumblr. And I was like, what? And it's DILFs of Daddy Land. So daddies you'd like to fuck. And you go and you look at these pictures and they are gorgeous. You want to get an e-ticket to that, which e-tickets, the old tickets they used to give out at Disneyland for what they call the dark rides. I would go on every dark ride with some of those daddies.
I'll just sit in the bathroom, tapping my foot. Hey, Daddy.
You're going to jail. Officer Bottomhausen's going to come in and arrest you. You look like Prince Harry.
Bottomhauser.
I don't think that's his name. I dedicated our last show to him. He's going to come on now and he's going to be like, Bottomhauser. I'm going to go arrest her.
Be on the lookout.
Please do it. Here's my address. It's 9 foot. Anyway, so we're now going into the part of the show called Juleigh's a Mess. I really shouldn't have to quantify this story anymore because as you can tell with our conversation just now, I'm a mess. I'm sure Marie's already spit her wine out a couple of times in Tampa. I asked my sister-in-law if she wanted to be on the show with me, and she was like, I have to watch an episode. I do a lot of charity and volunteer work in town, and they may not like it. And I was like, well, at least she's being honest. I said, I'll tame it down for you. I don't think I'd be able to tame it down. I couldn't do it. Because just like they said in The Greatest Showman, this is me.
Just go do the episode at that Catholic church and have it behind you.
This is not Drop Dead Divas.
Dress like a nun.
I would dress like a nun. I feel like that would bring me some problems. I feel like that would bring me some problems. So this part of the show we call Juleigh's a Mess, and it's where I tell my guests on each week a story that they haven't heard before. And then they get to, based on how they know me and what they know about me and how crazy I am and really just how they know me, they try and finish the story. Now, the last time Charlie was on, out of all the guests that I've had thus far, he has come the closest to actually nailing the actual ending of a story or two. And he didn't know the first story that I told. He's not going to know this one either. It's a story from my childhood because I went down to get the truck from my cousin David. I decided I would tell another cousin story tonight, and this story is about Mark. It actually involves all of my cousins at the time. So it would have been David, Mark, and Laura, and then it would have been myself and my brother Craig, and we were all in Mamaw's bathroom. So my fraternal grandmother, so my dad's mom, Mamaw, who we all adore. That's everybody asks about this necklace, and that's her pendant that I wear around my neck. We were in her bathroom. I don't know why we were all in the bathroom. I don't know if it's because our apartment was so small and all of our parents would have been out in like the main living quarters of the apartment. So maybe we were just in the bathroom to like shoot the shit and gab and talk. But my brother's older than me by about 2 years. And in this story, I think I was around 6 or 7. My oldest cousin David is just turned 51, I think. And so Mark, or maybe Mark's about 51 now. Anyway, so we're all in there. So David, Mark, and Laura were older. And then Craig would have fallen in succession as the next. And then I was the youngest in the group. And the positioning of the bathroom, David was near the door. Mark was in the middle. Laura was kind of leaning up against the towel rack. Or Laura was sitting on the side of the tub. Craig was kind of leaning up against the wall. And then I was wedged in between the toilet and the countertop. So you know that little area right between, I was kind of wedged up against the wall between the countertop and the toilet. Mark and I collected Smurfs. So if you grew up in the 80s, you were either a G.I. Joe kind of person or Smurfs. My brother actually had a lot of G.I. Joes. He had all the blue Cobras and he'd play with them all the time. And he got one white Cobra. And I know in the grand story of comics, the white Cobra was like some ninja man. But in my head, the white Cobra was like the girl in the group because she was in white. And I thought it was very virginal. And so when I played with Craig's G, he'd be like, she's not a girl. And I'm like, all these Cobra warriors, she's a girl this weekend. Some irony. Anyway, he used to get so mad at me, and I was like, she looks, she could be a girl. Pretty. She could be a girl. She could be non-binary.
This is Sarah.
She could be non-binary. Don't even get us started on that.
Please don't.
So, and pronouns. We're going to have to circle back to pronouns after this story's over. Oof. Anyway, getting back to the story about Mark and the Smurfs. So we collected Smurfs. Now, my parents were of the sort where you would go to the toy store and I'd be like, I want Smurfs. And they'd be like, all right, go pick some. And you would like pick the ones you wanted. And they had them in like all the little buckets. You pick the ones you wanted. You go pay for them. Sometimes my dad would be like, it's cheaper if you just get these 5. And I'd be like, I don't know who those 5 are. They don't have star and rolls on Smurfs. I've never seen them. They're just blue. And he would be like, Bradford, buy the damn Smurfs. And I'd be like, but I'm very indecisive. It would take me like 3 days to pick out the 5 Smurfs I wanted. And he'd be like, handful, register. And I was like, but I don't know who they are. Never did I get the mushroom that they lived in. So they just had to live like in the recesses of my bedroom. I think I threw one in the fish tank once. Anyway, Mark got the newest one that had been released. And he was all excited. And he was like, look what I got. It's new. And it was Painter's Smurf or Artist Smurf. So he had like the palette with the little colors on it. And he had a big Smurfy paintbrush on this side and the artist palette on this side. Charlie's laughing like, that sounds gay. Anyway, I'm not putting words in your mouth. But anyway, he kept saying, look what I got. Look what I got. Do you want to see it? Look what I got. And I finally said, can I see it? And he went, yeah. Finish the story.
I can't finish it because all of my memories is when you're little is show me yours and I'll show you mine. And it's not because I have a dirty mind. It's just that
yes, it is.
I can remember like
I didn't have one to show him. He would have showed me his Painter Smurf and I would have been like, here's my non-conforming just blue Smurf.
I'll tell you
shit. I almost poured.
I
almost poured more wine.
I'll say what a mean person you could have been probably when you was little is.
I'm not mean. I'm not mean.
You took that child's toy and flushed it down the toilet. That's 100% what I think you did to that poor child. And I stick to it. And then said, show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Y'all, do y'all have friends in your life where they always peg you 100%. 100%. I looked right at Mark. Laura was right next to me, and I looked right at Mark, and I said, "Oh, yeah, can I see it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I held it in my hand, and I'm looking at it. And then I threw it in the toilet, flushed it, and said, "Well, now you don't have it."
That's twice I got it right.
I said, "Now you don't have it." And everybody in the bathroom was like, "Oh, y'all." I got my ass tanned that night. I mean, my parents were not happy. And I was like, well, he was being boastful and bragging. And y'all tell us all the time you shouldn't be boastful and bragging. And so I took it into my own hands.
I'd whipped you for being a tattletale.
I am sorry, Mark. I am so sorry. I hope you didn't have like some, I don't even know what. I just hope you were not.
Maury's trying to call her now on a bully episode. For real.
Ma'am, do you bully your cousins? No, that was ages ago.
That ain't my baby.
Right? That was Bradford. That was not Julie. I am not like that. I don't want people to think that I'm a bully now.
No, not at all.
Unless I switch my estrogen patch.
I got ready to say that. I got ready to say that.
I can be mean though, because let's be honest. I may or may not. People that know me on TikTok, when I'm trying to say something that I may or may not have done, I say I may or may not. So I'm not copping to it, but I may or may not have had feelings recently for somebody that really should not have been in my
circle.
I was going to say sandbox, but circle worked. And
well, sandbox, so you can cover a turd up.
May as well just say kitty litter box. So anyway, where was I going? Oh, so he is this particular guy decided that he would like to try and make things work with his past girl. And I was like, if I was really mean, because I have a lot of photos, I would print them all up and stick them in her mailbox. And then I would get some chalk and go right in her driveway what her husband really likes to do with hidden candy. And Charlie was like, yes. And I was like, but I'm pretty sure I'll get murdered over the weekend.
Me too. And I sleep right in here, so I'd be the first to go. And I'm like, I didn't do anything.
He wouldn't kill you.
What?
He would come right in and be like, Julie.
Oh, you go ahead and go back to sleep. I'm going to just kill her and I'll be right back.
He'd be like, Julie, I'm going to kill you, but first let's have some amazing sex. And I'd be like, okay. And then give
me time to get out of here.
I don't know what I would do because,
you would die. Nothing. You wouldn't be dead.
I was going to say, because I'm so into him, I'd probably be like, okay, well, at least I'll die with a smile on my face.
Get the neck.
Mm-hmm. Please make me look pretty for when the cops show up and go, her blood was everywhere. And why? Because she decided to go right in this driveway. Charlie's like, I'd be afraid the woman's going to kill you. And I'm like, the woman would not kill me. I think the woman would sympathize and be like, oh, yeah, we knew he was a big old bottom. He walks around on his toes. And
he's real handy. For real.
Let's not talk about it anymore because he may see this and then he really will come and kill me.
Hey, man.
And I am. So then the other thing that happened this week is people always want to know on TikTok if I'm dating. And somebody actually asked me. So here's the question they ask a lot, more than not, which is driving me nuts. People will come into my TikTok and then all of my videos. So let's tell them about this weekend. I had 51,000 followers for the longest time on TikTok. And I thought, I'm trying to build my brand. I'm trying to bring people over to my YouTube. I'm trying to teach them and advocate about the intersex community. And I'm like, I've been stuck at 51,000 followers for a grip, 4 or 5 months. And I thought, I don't know what to put on TikTok because you never know on TikTok what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. So a woman last week said, virtual hug. I love it. Thank you, Jennifer Buckley. A woman last week came on and, damn it, stroke brain. Y'all, stroke brain, just so you know, is a game that Charlie and I have where every time somebody we know says it, we drink. It's become a great drinking game. We started it on Easter.
And now I have to go to A.
And it basically means that when I can't remember what I'm saying, I mean, that's not how it originated, but when I can't remember what I'm saying or thinking about, I just say stroke brain, because I have somebody that says that whenever he forgets things, it's because of a stroke brain. So I'm like, stroke brain. I'm not making fun of people that have had strokes. I've had one before, so therefore I can say it.
I think I had one last time I was on because it looked like my face was going like this, but I think because I got drunk. That's how I looked in the camera. I was like, oh my God.
You sure it wasn't a spider bite?
No, did you see the panic look on my face last time I was on here? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I think I got the stroke.
Your whole face was the color of your lipstick right now.
Because I was like, oh my
God. He was really horny.
I was scared.
So he was nervous, but he did a great job last time. So what were we talking about? Damn it. So I don't know. If it's important, I'll come back. Oh, TikTok. So people come on and ask you questions all the time. And one of the questions so last weekend, a woman came on and she said, so you're trans. And I was running out the door to help a friend get to the hospital. And I made a quick video in my kitchen. And I was like, I'm actually not trans. And the intersex community is tired of everybody labeling us as trans. This is what I have going on. This is what was going on with me. And I just made the video. You only get 60 seconds. And I ran out the door. Well, by that night, 20,000 people had viewed it. And there were like 500 comments. And I was like, oh, this clearly triggered some people. Well, over the weekend, I gained something like 54,000 new followers, taking me over 100,000 followers. Now I'm at 112,000, and that video has over like 7,000 comments. And one night, Charlie was like, Julie, you need to go to bed. You're going to seizure, because when I run both ends of my candle and I'm working on multiple things and trying to do multiple things, that's when I have my nocturnal epilepsy flare up. And I was like, I'll be fine. And then for like 2 nights straight, I didn't sleep because I was answering questions and educating. And everybody's like, maybe you absorbed your twin. So the top questions I got was, maybe you absorbed your twin. I am not chimera. I don't have 2 sets of DNA. I didn't eat my twin. I made a video about how I didn't have teeth in my back like the lady on My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And one person got that reference. And then everybody in America was like, it doesn't mean you eat your twin. And I was like, I did it. This is my story, not your story. If you want to talk about absorbing your twin, make your own fucking TikTok. But I was getting mad and triggered because they were being ignorant in what they were asking. But then they would be even more belligerent and ignorant when you would try and answer it in a positive way. So I'm not chimera. That's 2 sets of DNA. That's not what this is. Also,
that's a good drag name, though.
What? Not chimera?
Chimera. Like, I'm chimera.
Hi, I'm chimera. My favorite drag name, and not that I like, I don't want people to come for me, but a couple of years ago when Katrina happened, I was like, that would be a great drag name to come out in a stunning evening gown with like a birdhouse in your wig and like maybe a twig, and your name could be Katrina Debris.
Or Covidia Lynn.
Covidia Lynn.
I'm Covidia Lynn. That'd be cute.
That'd be cute. You got any vaccination names up your sleeve?
Oh,
my name is Vanessa Vaccinated. That wouldn't be good though, because
that's cute.
Vanessa Vaccinated. Okay, we just named a drag queen. If anybody's starting out and you want a cute drag name, be Vanessa Vaccinated. The thing is, you're going to have to be vaccinated in all things, not just COVID. Like, you better not have any STDs either.
Get your rabies shots and all that.
Raquel Raccoon. Raquel Raccoon. She and Vanessa Vaccinated are good.
Chimera.
Ooh, vaccinated.
We got a whole drag family.
We sure do. We are starting it. Come to us. We'll give you drag names on Rosé all day, every day. So one of the big questions they always ask is, what are your pronouns? Now, I say it in all my lives. I'm going to say it here. And I know it's not a popular opinion. But I think there are certain trends in America that people latch onto and they run with them. And I do not. And I've actually come across a lot of people in the gay community and the trans community and the intersex community that also do not like pronouns. I feel like it's very intrusive to walk up to somebody or in video or online and say, what are your profound? What are your profounds? What are your pronouns? Are you profoundly pronounced? What are your pronouns? So I think it's the equivalent of walking up to somebody and placing your hand on their belly and going, oh my God, when are you due? What are you having?
Yeah, which you don't do.
Which you don't do it. It's intrusive. And I think that I tell people all the time on TikTok, the people in my life and the people that matter to me that are in my inner circle know to call me Julie. And they know to call me she and her because I am female. So I don't think it's rocket science. And I said, people will tell you if they don't agree with what you're calling them, right? I don't think you should ask every single person, I don't mean to be rude, but what are your pronouns? You're being rude. I don't mean to I just want to know what to call you. Why? I'm on a social media platform. You're not coming over and fucking me. It doesn't matter. I just acknowledge me as Julie, acknowledge him as Charlie. What were we doing before 2020 with pronouns?
I think a lot of it is nowadays with TikTok, people's doing it with their cameras just so they can cause a big stinking mess. So it's on video and they can post it online. You know what I'm saying?
And they can say, oh, she doesn't support pronouns, or you called me this. And
I got it on video.
I think it's also, I feel like it's a way for people to continue to marginalize and discriminate against people. And what I mean by that is, I know a straight woman that people approached her at her place of business and said, what are your pronouns? And she said, I'm a straight woman and I don't really understand that and I don't believe in it. And they shamed her for it. And she was like, I'm totally I want to be supportive, but I get shamed for it. And I said, there are people even in the trans community. Somebody said to me the other day, you should put your pronouns in your bio so you support the trans community. And I said, I support the trans community. I have a lot of friends that are trans, but I don't think sharing my pronouns supports that. I think supporting them supports that.
Well, you had that person from another country talking to you that said, America is the only one that's doing that. Australia don't just, what's your pronouns? Nobody cares. They call you by the name you give them.
Persia doesn't do that. There's some cultures out there like the Spanish language where they already assign gender inflections to different words buena or señorita, señor, right? So they already do it and they're like, we don't need all that. And then you get tired of the little young ones that come on and they're like, but you use pronouns, you use them, you're there. So what are yours? And I'm like, I also am an educated woman and I use adjectives too, you stupid little shit.
Go change your diaper.
I'm 46. It's called respect. Respect me. And you're going to, I constantly find myself on TikTok saying, I don't do pronouns. I don't do pronouns. I don't do pronouns. Call me by my name. I don't do pronouns. But it gets tiring because it's literally everybody that comes into your live is, what's your pronoun? What's your pronoun? What's your pronoun? And you want to turn around and be like, I actually said to somebody the other day, they were like, well, I believe in pronouns. So what's yours? And I said, well, gosh, if I have to pick one, I guess I'm a sending goddess. Yeah, fucker. And not for nothing, we were talking about it earlier. In certain countries, intersex people are goddesses and they're lifted up and put on a high pedestal. In America, they're like, you're not even on the fucking spectrum. You should be murdered. And I'm like, well, don't worry. That's what people have been doing to us for the last 80,000 centuries. So they've been treating us like sex slaves, picking a gender for us and killing us. So don't worry. You're right on par with everybody else that's come before you in America.
Burn.
Don't worry. Let's see. Somebody says, oh, hey there. I've watched you for a while. I watched your vids, and I truly can't understand how people ask what they ask. You explain it pretty clearly. Aw, thank you. Oh, hey there. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try. I said this morning in an interview with #OurStories that I can't educate and I can't change perceptions if I fire back with complete rudeness. So when people ask, I understand that people don't know. I do understand that. I do get that. I understand that people just don't know about it because we have been marginalized and silenced for centuries. So you have to read the question, and sometimes you're answering to educate them because they really don't know. But then sometimes I feel like you can read the intent of the question, and they'll come back later after you've called them out and they'll be like, I didn't mean it like that. Well, it certainly sounded like you meant it like that. But then it's a double-edged sword because I'll explain things in a video and then people will come back and be like, well, it sounds like you're saying that non-binary people think that they don't know their worth. And I said, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I don't identify as non-binary and I know my worth. So quit trying to make me fit into your box or your agenda or your narrative, because I'm not going to do that. And you should respect me not only as a creator that has a lot more followers than you. Usually in most senses, they have 0 followers, 0
No
content,
profile, no
private
pictures.
accounts, stuff like that. But you should also honor me because I'm human first. We're all human first. And so it gets very tiring on TikTok sometimes because you feel like you're definitely throwing gasoline on a fire sometimes because you can't win. And I did also say, I could be the perfect peach in the crate. I mean, I could literally be the most perfect peach in the crate, but not everybody's going to like peaches. And sometimes you have to figure out a way to navigate around that so that you can absolutely still educate and change perceptions. And that's difficult, but that's why the people that are out there advocating are doing what they're doing, because we know the importance of changing those perceptions.
Well, if you could touch one person out of everything you do, it's worth it.
Yeah, one mustard seed. I grew up, people all the time go, oh my God, you're Christian? And I said, yeah, my faith has gotten me through so many things in my life. And his eye is on the sparrow, which is one of my favorite sayings. He's got me. He's got my back. And therefore, I have to move forward and educate everybody and know that I'm protected and what's going to happen is going to happen. But I need to educate. And if you change that one mustard seed, if you plant that one mustard seed of education and knowledge, it could down the road sprout a forest.
Or you got me feel like I'm on Turner Network. Tammy Faye and Jim Baker.
Oprah, what's the next? This is my husband, Jim Baker. And
Hey, Sammy.
Hi, and he has
Send
sex,
your money for
and
survival
he-
kits.
and he cheats on me.
Not a lot.
But I cheat on him too. With the Lord. With the Lord. Now let's go to a song. Just kidding. Oh, damn it. I spilled wine on.
Eat your bread.
Now we are going to go into 5 questions. So 5 questions is where I ask Charlie or my guests 5 questions. They can be about us. They can be about him. They can be about his time, whatever it is. But 5 questions. We're trying to get him to know him better. I know him pretty fucking well. But here are your 5 questions.
Don't all at once.
Like
shit.
Take notes, bitch. What has been one of your favorite memories in the last month?
Have an Easter dinner, because I haven't had it with family in so many years, to go somewhere where somebody cooks and it feels like a family.
Flo.
Yes.
She's going to cook for you again on Sunday. She's making carnitas.
And I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited for that.
Question number 2. we've had some loving moments in the last month. We've had some moments where you've wanted to just knock my lights out. How much have I changed since you knew me in West Virginia?
A lot. You're more sure of yourself. Know what you want. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it hurts, but you speak your mind. So, and I could never take it away from you. That's how it is.
Do you feel that's not a strength I had when I was Bradford?
No, not at all. You was timid. You would say stuff, and you was funny, but Bradford would say something funny and just sit back, or if somebody would pop off at him, he would take it, and you don't. So,
do you feel like that's a hindrance for me, or do you feel like that's empowering on some level?
Both. I think both.
Okay, that was all part of question 2. So
what? I was counting. I was like,
no. Okay, those were like threads off of the question. Let's see. Question number 3. We've tried to do some touristy stuff here. There's not really a lot you can do. What's something that you were surprised about Nebraska that you thought you had when you think about it now, you're thinking, I didn't think that would affect me that way when I found out that about Nebraska or that state. What's something about the state that you surprised you?
Going to the Tu Wong Fu, you took me to the movie set and how it's an iconic film and they let that town go to pure hell. And you go there, you recognize things, but it's something that they could, like we talked about, they could have really built that up and made a name for that little ass town, and people would come to see it.
I still think they could. It's in a town called Loma, Nebraska. And one of my really good friends who I have a secret crush on, Nate in Orlando, who I was on the board of Orlando Pride with, he's like, oh my God, you're moving to blah, 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 Nebraska. That's 17 miles away from Loma. And I was like, and he goes, that's where they filmed Tu Wong Fu. So of course, when I moved up here, my friend that moved me up here took me there and I looked and I was like, it's unrecognizable. And I thought, how sad that the hotel it's fallen. That movie was made over 35 years ago with Patrick Swayze and Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo and Stockard Channing, who I adore. And you can't tell that. You can tell there are parts from the town you can tell, but for the most part, you really can't tell. And it's sad because I think for Nebraska's economy, because that town is so small, a big financier could come in and buy the town, rebuild that set, and people would come and stay at the hotel. I think people would come and be a part of the Strawberry Festival. I think it would be a huge icon. And while Nebraska is very conservative, and I would like to think that they would welcome a town like that, there's still a little bit of that. I don't know if we're welcome here. I don't know if they would support that, which is sad because it was such a sleeper hit. Yeah. And kind of but I took Charlie to see it, I think that first weekend here.
Well, and it's just cool to walk where they walked and filmed and everything that happened in that little area. It's just a memory.
And it would be really cool if somebody would move in there and make it a big thing and have a festival every year, have the Strawberry Festival every year, just right there in Loma, Nebraska. Leave the spices out of the spaghetti sauce. Leave the spices out of the spaghetti sauce. Don't get backhanded in your kitchen.
If the box fail.
But you could even have, I even told Charlie, you could open up, you could have drag lunches there and shows that weekend. You could have events in the hotel. You could have figures. Charlie's like wax figures, but we also watched the movie Wax Museum while he was here. And I'm like, nope, I don't ever want to go to a town with wax figures. I don't care if they look like Wesley Snipes as Noxema Jackson. I don't want to be like, there's a real man under there. And I'm not feeling that face up. Because you and I, we'd find some hotties and be like, they're hot. And then we'd find out that they're making wax people in the back end. And I'd be like, we're dead.
In the back end making wax people. I'm like, It's a wax copy of booty holes.
Stop it. You can't say stuff like that. This is a national podcast. How am I supposed to get a wine sponsor if you're talking about wax booty holes?
They make them out of chocolate. So
get your wax starfish right here on Rosé All Day. No, ma'am. Although I did see an episode of The Girls Next Door on E where all of the Playboy bunnies made chocolate replicas of their starfish.
That's disgusting.
I mean, that's giving Brown Eye a whole new brown
Eat
eye.
this, like, no, thank you.
I mean, they probably took it back to Hugh and they're like, here's a copy of my starfish in chocolate.
Taste tester. Like,
and you know me, I would have been bougie. I'd be like, I don't want brown chocolate. Do you have white chocolate? And please don't put any nuts in it or corn.
full niblets.
Okay, question number 4. What's something you're looking forward to when you return to Savannah?
Getting back to school.
What are you going to school for?
Early childhood education.
And what would you like to do with that?
Be a social worker.
Awesome. I think that's great. We definitely need more social workers in the world that are engaged and passionate about the caseloads that come across their desk. Not to say that the people that are current caseworkers are not, but we all know that that is a thankless job and they have a multitude of case files that they can't get to, and people are often lost in the system and the cracks. So I applaud you for going back to school for that.
Thank
and
you.
I know why you're going, but I think that's great, Charlie. Let's see. Question number 5. That's got to be a good one. What is one word that you would hope reflects the future of our friendship?
Lasting.
Lasting. You have been a great friend to me.
Thank you. Ditto.
Okay, so now it's the part of the show where we ask our guest on each week if they would like to, or that they get to ask me one question about my intersex journey. So they asked me one question about my intersex journey that they've always wanted to ask and haven't asked before, didn't really understand how to ask me. The last time you were on, you said you had 2 questions, but I know you only asked 1. So what is your second question, or maybe a question you wanted to ask?
What are your pronouns? Just kidding.
You asshole.
Just kidding.
My pronouns are non-binary. No, I'm just kidding.
No, well, I don't.
What's something that okay.
We've talked about everything.
We have talked about everything. But this is a chance for me to answer your question and then educate the rest of the world. So is there even a repeat question or another way you would have asked it, or maybe you were, let's open the dialogue.
Well, I'll just say, which I do, and I'm not even you on TikTok or whatever, but does it not make you mad, furious to answer the exact same questions over when you've already went through it all, and they can watch your videos and see the journey,
I mean, I think that's a little infuriating. I think every platform is different. What's frustrating with TikTok is you have made all these videos and you've talked about it, and they could go back and just watch your content. And that's why you hope that people would follow you. So they go back and watch your content. TikTok has always said, repost your most popular videos, because they watched it the first time, you'll probably gain new followers the second time. I think what's frustrating is like people will come on and say, write a book. You should write a book. It would be a bestseller. Well, I wrote a blog and I add to that blog all the time. And is that not the same thing as a book? And they're like, well, it's not a book. And I'm like, could you not take your tablet to the pool at the hotel resort and read my blog? Like, it's in my head, I'm writing a blog. It's the same as a book. You're not going to, and I said, let's all be honest. People aren't going to the mall anymore and buying hard copy books. So they're downloading it on Audible. They're downloading it on these different websites. They're reading it. You're still reading it. So that's when I'm like, go look at my website. Go look at justjuleigh.com. Go check on that Connect page and you'll be able to see everything I do. That's a little frustrating. When it comes to other things, again, I always go back to if they don't ask, they won't know. It's kind of like when we were all in school growing up and they would say, no question is a dumb question. And I don't want anybody to feel like they're asking a dumb question. And yes, they may ask it 1,000 times over and you may think, Jesus, just read the fucking comments.
He's not going on to the
There's
second grade.
7,000 comments in here. And what are your pronouns? Are you a hermaphrodite? And people telling me what they think that I have when I've already told them exactly what I have. That gets a little frustrating because you just wish that they would just scroll down and read the comment. I'm not kidding when I tell you every other comment is, what are your pronouns? Did you eat your or absorb your twin? I don't want to make people mad. We don't need them. Because people, it seems like even on social media.
But you have a set of dentures right here.
But they get super like, they ask you a question and then when you answer it, they're mad at the answer you gave them. So then they get super aggressive and they come at you and you're like, I answered it honestly. I told you what I experienced and what I'm going through. Quit trying to put me in a narrative box or agenda that makes it easier for you to accept it. That's where I get frustrated because you've asked me, I answered it. Let's move on. And instead people go, well, why don't you feel that way? Are you saying we don't exist either? And I'm like, oh my God, you asked me the question and I answered it. Read the rest of it. But I've always said people on social media don't read comments.
And they like
even
to
on
argue.
Facebook. And they like to argue. What do they call them? Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors. And somebody the other day was like, another big one is, can you reproduce? Can you get yourself pregnant? And you totally want to be like, well, even if I could, do you think I'd fucking ruin the rest of my life by having a goddamn kid? I'm 46.
Blocking Betty.
But I mean, that's not my real feeling. I love kids, but I'm just like, I've already answered. I can't have them. And then they become even more intrusive. And then it becomes even more intrusive. That's what's hard is when they're really like, well, I don't mean to be rude, but do you have a penis in your pants or do you have a vagina? And my standard answer has been, I don't want to be rude back, but I'm literally at the point where I'm like, unless you're licking it or fucking me, it's none of your fucking business. And unless you're paying my bills, it's not any of your fucking business. Like, why do you need to know that? Why do you need to know that? I am human and I deserve to be visible and seen. Why do you need to know what's in my pants?
Because it's not, to me, it's not curiosity anymore because, you know, it doesn't matter what somebody has to me, you know, and that should never be a question somebody asks. That's my opinion.
Well, that was my takeaway for the longest time. I've dated forever and I've always dated men and people always go, oh, are you into men? Are you into women? I'm like, I'm into men. I've always dated men. Even when I thought I was gay, I was into men. I'm an equal opportunist. So a gay man could walk up to me now and be like, I'm mostly gay, but you're fucking stunning and I want to date you. And I'll be like, let's date. Like if you treat me right, let's date. I mean, I do have some criteria. You need to be an athletic jock and at least maybe either jog, run, or go to the gym more often than not. You need to have a stellar career, and I need you to have a banging 401k plan before I even talk to you. So I need to see all that. I'm just kidding.
I'll take a poor homosexual any day.
With a big eggplant. Because, you know, we're both
That's
sides.
a bonus.
That's a bonus. But I do date, I date men and men are, you know, even my mom was like, what do you date? And I'm like, men, Mom. And
hyenas.
It acts, and people act sometimes like they're shocked that you would date that. And I'm like, there are just as many people out there interested in intersex and trans women as there are in dyadic women. And dyadic, for those of you that are not hip on the lingo, is anybody that's not intersex.
That's bussin'.
That's bussin'. Charlie and I have been finding words all over TikTok this week, and we're like, what are they doing to the English language?
Well, instead of saying, oh, that's good, it's, oh, that's bussin'. And I'm like, oh.
This sub is bussin'. Yeah. I'm like, one, I wouldn't be eating a sub.
I like to bust your face.
I mean, in my age and time, bussin' meant getting to the fucking table and cleaning it off so I could get another person in there to make some tips.
And snatching tips.
That's right. Bust that fucking table. That's bussin'. we're going to hell. Maybe not. So guys, it has been a great.
Light my cigarettes off a rock.
What?
If I go to hell, I can light my cigarettes off a rock.
You could light a lot of things off a rock if you go to hell. You know what I used to say? You know what I used to say about hell? And this is funny because people would be like, you're going to hell. You're going to be on the train. And I used to say, well, if you really think about all the people that have supposedly gone to hell, that is one badass keg party. I mean, when you really think about it, if somebody was like, you're fucking going to hell, you homosexual, intersex, tranny slut, you'd be like, well, it sounds like from everybody else that's down there, I'm going to have a fucking good time.
I'm going to go run a train.
So, guys, I wanted to thank you for joining us this week on another episode of Rosé All Day. Juleigh's a mess. I, once again, just want to be honest and raw in the moment and say thank you for your love and support. Thank you to all my new followers on YouTube. May we grow together. Thank you to all of my followers on TikTok that allow me the freedom and the opportunity to share my very intersex life and advocate for others. I love all of you. Please join us next week when we try another rosé and we have more stories. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye-bye. Love you.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Juleigh, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Juleigh tries a different rosé.